stage.
All the world's a stage.
All the world's a stage.
And all the men and women merely players.
They have their exits and their entrances.
And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages.
At first the infant.
Mewling and puking in the nurse's arms.
'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years and she was weaned. I shall never forget it.
For then she could stand alone, nay, by the rood.
She could have run and waddled all about, for even the day before she broke her brow.
And then my husband, God be with his soul, I was a merry man, took up the child.
Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit. Wilt thou not, Jill?
And, by my holly dame, the pretty wench left crying, and said I.
And then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face,
Creeping like snail, unwillingly to school.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain!
And then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow.
O thou didst then ne'er love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved.
Or if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hero in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved.
Of if thou hast not broke from company, abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved.
Then a soldier.
Full of strange oaths, and bearded, like the pard, jealous in honour, sudden and quick in quarrel.
Seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth.
On, you English, whose blood is set from fathers of war-proof.
Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought and sheathed their swords for lack of argument.
Dishonour not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war.
And you, good yeoman,
whose limbs were made in England, show us here the metal of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not.
For there is none of you so mean and base, that hath not noble lustre in your eyes.
I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start.
The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cry God for Harry, England, and St. George.
And then the justice.
Justice. In fair, round belly, with good cap on, lined.
With eye severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances.
And so he plays his part.
I am Robert Shallow, sir, a poor esquire of this place, and one of the king's justices of the peace. What is your pleasure with me, sir?
The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side.
His youthful hose, well saved. A world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turned again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound.
Rumble thy bellyful, spit, fire, spout, rain.
nor rain, wind, thunder, fire are my daughters.
I tax not you, you elements, with unkindness.
I never gave you kingdom.
Called you children. You owe me no subscription.
Then let fall your horrible pleasure.
Here I stand, a slave.
A poor, infirm, weak and despised old man.
But yet I call you servile ministers.
That have with two pernicious daughters joined.
Your high engendered battles, 'gainst a head so old and white as this.
Oh, 'tis foul! My wits begin to turn.
Last scene of all.
That ends this strange, eventful history.
Is second childishness, and mere oblivion.
Now my charms are all overthrown.
And what strength I have's mine own.
Which is most faint.
And my ending is despair.
Unless I be relieved by prayer. Which pierces so that it assaults.
Mercy itself and upfree all faults.
As you for crimes would pardoned be.
Let your indulgence set me free.
Sans teeth.
Teeth.
Sans eyes.
Sans taste.
Sans everything.
All the world's a stage.